Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and we're gathered here today to talk some animation today. And we've also crossed it with our superhero casts. We're talking two DC animated movies with two of the leading superheroes from those comics. It's Superman and Batman, and we are talking the 2009 Public Enemies, and we're talking the 2010 Apocalypse. It's two short films, are about 70 minutes long. So we're just going to merge this cast into one about these two things. So we're going to go around these guys here on opening thoughts first. So I believe Alid to last, because we know his love of superheroes. So I'm leaving it to last so he can calm down. And then he can, go for it. So I think we'll go to Susie.
But I'll be interrupting throughout, so don't you worry, dear viewers.
It started already. We'll go to Susie first on your opening thoughts on these two movies.
Yep, that's you. Yep, you're Susie.
Okay, I'm Susie. Well, yeah. I am a DC gal, and I love DC animated universe, particularly the movies. Bruce Timm rocks. And what's the name of the Superman and the Batman in this one, Lee? I forget.
Tim Daly plays Superman.
And
Kevin
Conroy.
Yeah, well, I know Conroy, I just couldn't remember. Anyway, the best animated Batman and Superman voices ever on the face of the planet. Just my personal favorites. And the second, are we talking just the first movie first?
You can do which way you want to do. You can do if you want.
Okay. Well, basically, it's like watching a two-part Doctor Who episode. It's just one part and then another part. And you can watch them individually. Oh, stop rolling your eyes, Alan. You can watch them individually, but they kind of work together. The first one is a little weaker than the second one because while it does have a great story, most of the time is spent bringing in every DC villain ever imagined to try to take a shot at Batman and Superman. And that's pretty much the majority of the time that's spent. However, around that, there really is a great story. It has to deal with Lex Luthor, has to deal with unrest, it has to deal with economy crashing, has to deal with all of the nasty things that are happening today except for a coronavirus, but everything that's happening around the coronavirus. The movie starts out and you see a society in deep peril and deep turmoil and people losing their homes, and it's very, very distressing. And out of that, you get, oh no. Well, I had to tell you my favorite moment, one of my favorite moments of two in the whole thing, I know we aren't there yet, but I'm doing it anyway, is there's the comedian, oh God, name of the comedian. And he's a real talk show host here, and God, I can't remember his name. But he says something about, Lex Luthor is winning the election the old-fashioned way. 22% of Americans said they are going to vote for him. He's winning the election by buying it. And in a related story, 22% of Americans now like getting fucked in the ass with a red hot poker. He really does say that, and it gets bleeped out. So you can bleep me too. But it's in the movie, and it's hysterical, trust me. So I love both of these movies. These are great brain-dead movies that you can just lay back if you're depressed and watch. And I think nowadays it's a good time to do that. And when we get to favorite moments, I'll go on and on because there are so many. But there's a lot of good humor in the first one especially. And I just can't recommend them enough. If you overlook the parade of supervillains trying to kill them, other than that, both of the two movies are fabulous. So.
Brilliant. Yeah, there is a lot of supervillains in this one, but sadly missing the Joker for some strange reason.
I know.
Yeah, but we're not going to be bitter about that. Brian. Yes, you, Brian.
Yes.
What's your opening thoughts on these two movies?
Well, with these two movies, Public Enemies and Apocalypse, they honestly, when I watched Public Enemies, I thought it was going to be a part 1, part 2 type of thing. But it honestly doesn't really feel like that it is. It just feels like 2 separate standalone films, because there are 2 other DC films that I've previously watched in the past, like that are like in the similar format, but I saw them in theaters, and it was a part 1 and part 2 story. I think it was Death of Superman and Reign of Superman, I believe it was. I think that's what it was called. But anyway, these 2 movies, I honestly, I think the first movie that I watched was a little bit better than the second part of it, which was I like Public Enemies a bit more than Apocalypse.
Is that because it has more fight sequences?
I just find the story.
No, you don't.
I just find the story.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Hey, what?
I just found the story and the characters and the progression pace of the movie is far much better than Apocalypse is. I mean, the only, I would say, saving grace Apocalypse would be is having Darkseid in it. But other than that, I don't think anything that.
So you thought number 1 had more story than this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. As Alan always says, it's
okay to be wrong. I say it to Susie all the time.
all the
Susie
time.
doesn't mind. Susie doesn't mind.
And the design and the new design and look within Apocalypse, because it looked like a different design and look within Apocalypse than it did within Public Enemy. And to me,
What looked different?
Like the cartoon design, like the look of the characters and everything.
Really?
No,
Done by the
I
same
didn't notice
people.
that.
I did, and to me, it looked shit.
The first one.
No, the Apocalypse.
God, he didn't really like. He didn't like Apocalypse
You
at all.
are just totally off. I'm not going to say it. I'm sorry. Everyone has a right to their own.
Do you remember? It's okay to be wrong.
And
Yes,
but
just
even though Darkseid was mostly the only saving grace within this film, I would also have to say Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy as well would be other saving grace within that film. Even because I love Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy, especially Kevin Conroy as Batman. So having both of them within the 2 separate films, I really enjoy. And also Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor within the first part of the film. Well, the first part of the first film.
Part 1, yeah.
Yeah. Even though it doesn't really feel like a part 1.
Public Enemy, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was actually really enjoyed the aspect of seeing both
Is he gone?
Oh.
Seems frozen.
Oh, carry
No,
on,
I'm
Brian. You were
here.
frozen for a second. Carry on.
No, I'm here.
Yeah, what did you say? Carry on. We didn't.
I said it was really cool and interesting to see the aspect of both Batman and Superman working together within the first gist of the film, within Public Enemy. And I really enjoyed seeing like Gorilla Grodd, Solomon Grundy, and like all those different type of other all those other villains. But what I was really enjoyed seeing Black Lightning, because I've recently been watching I haven't recently been watching, but I watched I watched the Black Lightning TV series, so it was very cool seeing him in the film as like an animated adaptation of it, of him as the character. So, yeah, these two films very enjoyable. I think Public Enemy is much more superior than Apocalypse, but they are still enjoyable. That's my take and opinion upon the films. So yeah.
Yeah, everybody's entitled to an opinion, and this is what this group's about, even if Alid says differently.
I don't say differently. I have not said that he's not entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to be wrong.
You know what? I also didn't really like the fact that they call Shazam Captain Marvel. I never heard that aspect within the DC comics before.
Well, yeah, he was Captain Marvel until the court case said you can't call him that anymore. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In real life?
Correct. Lee is absolutely 100% correct.
Yes, because there was two Captain Marvels, DC and Marvel comics. So and Marvel one.
So they called him Shazam.
Shazam, yeah. Well, we'll move over to Alex and Susan then.
All right. Well, I love this. I really enjoyed these two movies a lot. I did see that the first one was sort of more. The only thing different between the two movies was the first one was lit, like they drew it like it was lit with bright lights, and the second part was lit with dark colors. Even in
the second one was darker, though. That's why.
Yeah.
The second one was the darker film.
Right.
Sucked.
So, like not like the second part looked like used darker shades and darker tones, and even in the place where Wonder Woman lives, I can never remember the name of her place. What's it called?
Themyscira.
Yeah, wherever that is. Over there, even that was dark, and that's never dark usually, especially not in the 1970s TV show. But anyway, I'm enjoyed it. Tim Daly, Kevin Conroy were great. Black Lightning played by LeVar Burton, and we're gonna go review Picard, which he by all rights he should be in Picard. Anyway, eventually, whatever. But they have to slot him in there somewhere because he's so cool. Anyway, long-term friend or fan of his, and the second one had let me see, what's her name? Just a moment, I'll get there. The second one had Summer Glau as Kara, as Supergirl, which was awesome. Summer Glau was really cool. She played one of the rivers in, River in Firefly, which was really cool.
River Tam.
Yeah,
Right.
River Tam. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so she was pretty badass, and so anyway, good.
Yeah, Summer Glau. That isn't the first DC thing. Wow.
Anyway, she that part of that I enjoyed a lot. The fact that they gave her such a large role in the second movie.
Right.
In Apocalypse, she was basically the focus of the movie, and the all the plot points were centered on her, and that's fun for me because it was. I mean, she is supposedly stronger than and more amazing than Superman, and I agree because the future is female. And so it was great.
Well, you cannot say that now. You're gonna upset some.
I'm not gonna upset anyone. It's just the truth.
Yeah, you
So-
are. Yeah. But with Supergirl, she was also in DC's Arrow. In
Yeah.
season-
Yeah, she was. I mean, she's been in it before, but it was great. It was great that she played Kara, and she played her Kara, and she played her so well, and it was so fun. She did a lot with her voice, which was good. Anyway, those are my opening thoughts. Here's Alex.
Here's Alex.
Yeah, I liked both movies. I liked the Apocalypse one a little better, but they both were very well done. The dialogue was very good in both movies. The actors are very good. Yeah, so I would say to enjoy this, just like with the, and of course they have Wonder Woman as well, which I think they've had about, maybe 3 or 4 women voicing Wonder Woman. And they're good. I mean, it's not the same as Linda Carter, but she can't play it forever.
Susan Elise.
Yeah, Susan's good. Yeah, and
Nice and stuff.
but yeah, I mean, I always will love the Wonder Woman TV show, even though the 3rd year was horrible. But
Hold
yeah,
on, what we're
it's
talking
good that
about
they
now, the
put
Wonder
up.
Woman TV show or these two
Yeah,
films?
I know. Yeah, just free associate. It's okay. It's okay.
Allison Mack played Power Girl.
Yeah, no, she was good too. So yeah, you have a very good cast. The dialogue is very good as well. So yeah, you don't need a live action movie for it to be good, as we know from a lot of the Spider-Man cartoons. Even the ones in the 80s were good. Even though, yeah, the technology can change quite a bit. But yeah, these are good movies. You don't need a big budget, as we know from the live-action Batman versus Superman, which isn't, in my opinion, as good as this animation stuff. I think the actors are better in this.
That was
All
short.
right. That's us.
Short for Alex, I know, that was quick. Expect another half hour.
Engagement. Now we come to Alid.
Alan says superheroes suck. End of review.
Alid loves
I
animation.
wished superheroes sucked.
Hey, Superman. Yeah.
What?
Hold on.
Brian,
Alid, come back. Alid,
I'll
come
talk
back.
to you after the cast and explain, okay?
Oh, if only.
As I was saying,
Or the other way around. I mean, I'm easy.
we all know Alid likes animation, and we all know his stance on superhero stuff. So
No, the live action superhero stuff.
yeah,
is
we'll combine
garbage.
the two here now. So
I mean,
now
look at the Batman films. Look at Aquaman. They are absolute garbage.
Aquaman, not
Superhero things work best as they're intended, which is in animation. And the animation in this, for both of them, is very good.
Not.
The second film is better than the first film. The problem is with the first film, it doesn't have a lot going on. It's basically this asteroid coming down. They've got to stop the asteroid, etc. It's very simple and basic. And it's mostly just for the cool fight scenes, which the fight scenes are very, very good. I don't know who any of the characters are. They're just jumping all over the place. I mean, there's about 1 million characters coming on at once. But the fight scenes are excellent. The second one has more of a story and less fight scenes, which is why I prefer the second one. But actually, what I do like about it as well is it's quite political. I mean, I think Batman has always been quite political, hasn't it?
Well, I would say Superman is more political than the Batman series, because Luthor eventually does get into the Oval Office.
Oh, so
Right.
Luthor is Batman, Superman's.
Superman's arch enemy,
Yeah, Luthor is Superman's archenemy.
Yeah. So no, they are quite political stories. So you know,
I don't think any of the Batman enemies, most of the Batman enemies were in these. These are all Superman's enemies.
they're all Superman's enemies.
Some of them were both.
None of them are Batman's enemies. That's
Some of
odd.
them
Really?
were both. Yeah, some of them were both. It depends on
Yes.
the show. But
I think Brian's talking a load of rubbish as per usual, and the second one is the better film. Yeah, That's definite. The second one is the better film. The first one's good. You can sit down. It's only about an hour long when you take out the credits. It's an hour long. The second one's about hour and 15 minutes. But about the same length, but the second one is better because it has a story that you can follow and characters that you can follow. Even though I do like the relationship between Batman and Superman in both films, I think they play off each other well. Yeah, and Batman's more grumpier in the second one, isn't he?
Batman is that's the way Batman should be played.
Yeah.
He's always grumpy.
But I love how he looks when he's just standing there with a cape. You know.
Well,
The
that's
visual,
that's the reason why he dresses as a bat, to put fear into the criminals of Gotham.
Yeah. And then
And
he would destroy a whole planet, sort of thing, wouldn't he?
Good.
I mean,
That
we
line he would destroy.
It's
What did the villain
twisted.
Darkseid say? You destroy. You know, Batman's more ruthless than Superman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
human.
Batman's more ruthless. Yeah.
Because he's human and Superman's not human. That was the comment. Humanity.
Yeah.
and
Batman's human and he's bonkers, so that helps.
And Batman's got no special powers at all.
Well, he has.
No, he hasn't.
Money.
He,
Yeah,
well, okay. How does he do all that then?
You are.
Money.
How does he do all that then?
He's a billionaire who just can afford to build all these technical gadgets.
Well,
Yes,
and
he's a superhero then.
No,
He's made
super-
himself into a superhero.
A superhero is mainly superpowers. He has got no superpowers.
Yeah, but he's not your ordinary bloke, is he?
No,
He's not Tim down at Tesco.
he spent his life learning martial arts and buffing
He's
out.
rich and he's a ninja, Alex just said, and he's right.
But he is a superhero.
Yeah, he's a comic book superhero, but
Yeah.
a superhero to everybody else is people who've got superpowers.
His powers are intelligence and money.
And
Yeah,
cunning.
that's a superpower.
Perseverance and strength.
Being a dang good detective and having a really nice punch.
Yeah.
What was I going to say then?
But yeah, no, I like the action scenes in the first one were good, but it just didn't have much of a story going on. Wasn't a lot going on.
Right.
The asteroid coming down, they've got to stop the asteroid. Lex Luthor tries to get Superman's help and that, and yeah. Bit predictable as well. Bit predictable.
Yeah, you've got to realise that Supergirl was within that asteroid somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. You won't really explain that well.
No, it wasn't. That's I thought. What?
I think she
I think you can watch the second one without watching the first one.
right.
I know. Yeah, you can, but I made a decision. If we're going to do it, let's do two, and it's sort of connected because it begins with the announcement of the impeachment of Luthor and the asteroid.
I mean, I had no idea she was going to be Supergirl.
I did.
I didn't have much perfect.
He
I
did.
didn't know who she was.
Well, this is,
Yeah, but you
well,
got more of a background. You got more of a background for Superman in the second one.
But if you've ever heard the name Kara, you know.
No, I don't. I don't know anything about it.
you can't really have a go at Alec because he doesn't know the history of the comic book.
No, I've got no idea. Yeah.
But at least he's sat and watched these and he's enjoyed it, you know.
That's great.
Yeah, I would watch if we reviewed more of the animation ones. I'd watch them, but I wouldn't watch the live action.
Good.
Why not?
Remember,
I don't like them. I don't think they work as live action.
It does
want
not like
more of the DC animation. We've
the
heard
DC
it
with DC Universe. With the DC Universe, live action does well with a TV series than it does with film.
Yeah. But we are talking the animation movies here, though. That have you finished, Ali? Shall I do my bit? Are you?
Yeah, no, I finished now. I might interrupt though. So
Oh,
just...
no, you would. Yeah, I'm used to it now. No, I
right,
agree.
Shall we
with
move on to favourite moments?
I agree with what you say, Ali. I believe that the animated hero stuff is a lot better. Because you can do a lot more with cartoons, with animation. Some of the movies, yeah, brilliant. Pour the money into it, but it can still flop at the box office.
It's how they're meant to be, like with the comics.
Yeah,
it's how they're meant to be.
The comics, the comics are colourful. Superman comics are colourful. The Flash comics are colourful. Wonder Woman, Batman, dark, but that's the way it's supposed to be. But I think Public Enemies had a story, but it was overshadowed, as Susie mentioned, with the Rogues Gallery. Yeah. A hell of a lot of Rogues,
a lot of characters, yeah.
Too much.
Turning up. I think they could have calmed that down a bit, but there was still a good story there. Luthor becoming president, Luthor, working behind the scenes against humanity, really, and Superman. Controlling all the other heroes.
They should have gone more into it. They could have had more dialogue. There wasn't a hell of a lot of dialogue.
No, that's because
there was a lot of fighting.
There was too many villains turning up. That's the problem, I think.
Yeah.
With this one, and with Apocalypse, yes, the story's more in your face, and more. No, you know what I mean. There is a story there, and it does include a few more characters, as you say, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, not Luthor, but he's been impeached in the first one. But enjoyable. I do like watching these sort of things because it does remind me of when I was growing up, when I was a little lad, reading the comics. You used to use your imagination. They used to spring out of the page, and this is what these do.
Under the candlelight, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I can't remember who said it, but Kevin Conroy is, the voice, the Batman of the animated series. I mean, there has been many actors who have played Batman in the animations now, but Kevin Conroy is the one. And Tim Daly,
is Batman.
Yeah, I always associate Tim Daly with Superman as well in the animated. There's been many other actors play the Superman character as well. Voice the characters. I enjoyed sitting down watching these. They didn't drag, so it was good. It was good to. I think it was a good choice of mine to pick these.
Thank you.
Actually, I'll give credit where credit's due.
It was me. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lee. Thank you.
Susie a couple of weeks ago mentioned, I think, one of them. And I thought that got me thinking. Yeah, let's do two of them. Right. Well, we'll go to favourite moments or things what you're not so keen on. We'll go backwards. So we're talking backwards. Alid.
How rude!
How rude! What? Talking backwards? Favorite moments.
That was my review. I did it backwards. That was my favorite moments. I did it backwards.
He does his review backwards all the time.
Oh, Brian's gone. Yeah. No, the first one, favorite moments. I don't really have any favorite moments for the first one because it's kind of all just action sequence after action sequence. I guess when he was fighting when Batman and Superman were fighting that robot towards the beginning, where he went to meet Lex Luthor. That was a pretty cool.
Metallo. He's a Superman.
Nutella.
Yeah, Metallo.
Nutella, yeah.
Not Nutella.
Yeah, him. That scene was pretty good. The other action sequences just kind of blur into one in my mind because it literally just goes action sequence, action sequence, action sequence. Then a few characters talking, like Luthor was with that assistant. Of course, she betrays him in the end, which I knew was going to happen. And then action sequence, but the ending to when Batman is going in the Megazord thing, that big Megazord, did remind me of well, you lot will know, maybe Susie won't. I don't think Susie was with us, but when we reviewed the Iron Giant, the Iron Giant goes up towards the rocket, doesn't he, and goes Superman, and And that's his last words. Kind of reminded me of that. But I did know that when Lex Luthor fired the missiles, it was clearly going to fail. You could just tell it when it all went up, and then the bombs just exploded and covered it, and you thought, they're all cheering. It's still there. It's not affected it. I knew that. Yeah, the second one I preferred a lot more. I mean, I like the relationships between the characters. I thought they were the characters in the second one are more fleshed out than in the first one. Like you had Wonder Woman, you had the girl that died, and then of course you had Supergirl, and she was in training, and she had the fight at the end with Superman. Yeah, so
Yeah, and you notice as well. You mentioned it. The girl who died. Death.
yeah,
In these sort of anime, in these cartoons, death. There's blood in these cartoons.
yeah, there is. Yeah.
You don't often get that in these sort of things, but good on them.
And when they're fighting those creatures, the creatures come through the portal.
Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. Yeah, there's like loads of them. And they've got no blood. They can't kill them, can they? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I pretty much, I enjoyed them both. But I
Okay.
prefer Apocalypse.
Don't we all?
Brian,
Brian seems to have gone.
Well, he did.
Oh, he's back.
Don't we?
He's all right.
Right, we'll go to Susan and Alex.
All right. Well, my favorite moment in the first movie was when Batman hits or Superman hits Lex Luthor. I can't remember which, but it says impeached.
Oh yeah.
That was badass. That was what I figured world leaders needed around this time. Just my opinion on the
Don't
subject.
condone violence, Stevie.
Yeah, it's just condone violence of
Unless
any
it's
kind.
Trump, and then we do.
That's right.
Oh, we don't.
Okay, no. Susie says no, we don't. No, we don't.
No visit from the Secret Service.
No. Okay, no, we don't. We don't.
Anyway, I enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed that image quite strongly, and then I really liked how Supergirl was sort of manipulated by Apocalypse. That was really, really cool. I loved how her shopping day with her cousin turned into going completely dark, because that's what shopping at Pierre Cardin and all those shops will get you. They'll turn you into an evil person right away. I just know it. That's why I can't do it. I mean, I won't do it. I mean, I can't afford it. No, I mean, it's a bad idea. So anyway, I'm just being funny. Here you go. You answer some questions then. You favorite moment.
Okay. Yeah, the first one I didn't like as much, but it did have different characters. I did like the punching with the impeachment. I mean, it's a typical action trope that you do the funny, quip after you hit somebody or whatever. In the movies, not in real life. The second movie I liked a lot better. I liked the writing better. I liked the I don't know how they had so many. It was almost like a live action movie in a way, that they showed all the conflict, they showed all the fighting, they showed all the and the first movie had great fight scenes as well. But I like the second one better. But yeah, I mean, these were good. These were very good movies, even for them being animated. And like I said before, there's been a whole history of, even though some of the Hulk cartoons were good, not as good as these though. So yeah, I mean, it's superheroes, they're comics anyway, they're sort of animated anyway. They had great actors, great dialogue. I did prefer the second one more than the first one. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought
one more thing. The actress who played Amanda Waller, CCH Pounder, that was really great too. I wanted to shout out to that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amanda Waller.
I thought the voice acting was very good as well.
Yeah.
on her.
Amanda Waller is a great comic character. Suicide Squad. That's all we have to say.
And the sound effects were good.
That's the one. Exactly what Lee just said. That's the one.
Yeah,
What Lee said.
He was the one who put together the Suicide Squad in the comics and cartoons, and uses the villains. You know, bad woman. So let's go to Susie.
Yay! Okay. I love this stuff. I love it. Okay. The first movie had so many funny quips in it. The dialogue, even though, yes, everyone's correct, and I said the same thing, too many trying to put too many supervillains in there. But other than that, they're walking through the sewer, they're trying to escape all the supervillain, and Superman's been shot, and he's on Batman, they're walking through a sewer, and Clark says, hey, whatever happened to Magpie? You know, and Batman says, oh, I think she died. Oh, why do all the good villains have to die or something? And Batman says, Clark, what's a good villain? I mean, I just love that. And I have a whole list that I can't read. Oh, so the rock's coming down, and they accuse Superman of going insane because there's kryptonite in the asteroid. So of course Batman is like, of course he's not insane. And Batman looks at him and says, well, is it true? You know, so, I mean, Batman's always just a little suspicious of aliens, doesn't matter who they are. And God, I can't read my own writing. Amanda Waller is awesome. Amanda Waller, when she basically, you know, she's the one that turned, you know, outs Lex Luthor for being insane, and Luthor becomes insane because he's injecting himself with kryptonite to try to get as strong as Superman. So he's the one that becomes insane from kryptonite, not Superman. And I can't believe nobody else mentioned this. The whole bit with Power Girl's boobs at the end. Power Girl. I mean, come on. Power Girl's this character that's got these like that, and there's a big circle. I mean, it's like, it's a crazy ass costume, which I've always hated. So they acknowledge that in this movie. In the end, the whole thing is sorted by this kid called Toyman, who has lots of money. He lives in Japan, and he puts together this huge rocket that's just for fun, like other kids build little models. He had an actual rocket, and it was half Superman, half Batman. So Power Girl goes there to make sure he's okay until Batman and Superman arrive. And she's standing out by the front door, and they're basically like, what are you doing here? And she says, no, I'm going to stay here. You go in, then you deal with him. And they're like looking at her like, why? And she says, well, he's not really a boy, you know. He is 13. And they get in, and they meet this kid, Toyman, and which is the only time I've ever heard Toyman not be a villain, but okay. And he's got these X-ray goggles he was wearing, and apparently he was using them to look at Power Girl, and she punched him in the eye. So I thought it was hysterical. All right, I cannot. Oh, my favorite. There's more for that, but I can't read what I wrote. Yes, villain, psych. Oh, I guess I did say that. Guess. Yeah. Oh well, I figured it out later. Well, the second movie shouldn't be called Apocalypse. It was mistitled. I think it was titled Apocalypse because it would appeal more to the adolescent boy demographic, so that they would buy things about Apocalypse, and it would, because when you look at the trailer, it's all Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, and that's basically what you see. But the movie should have been called Supergirl, because that is the main character, and that is what the whole thing revolves around. So he's absolutely right.
Yeah, but that would sound even worse. What?
No.
Superman / Batman Supergirl.
They
That
should
wouldn't
call it
sound good at
Superman.
all.
Just call it
Supergirl Apocalypse.
That's right, Supergirl Apocalypse. Amen, sister. So yeah, it would have been perfect.
But was
because
it
that's actually
wasn't that meant to be a surprise that Supergirl's in it?
Kinda.
no, it's not supposed to be a surprise.
All right.
I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, it does, but I don't think it's necessary that it's a surprise, to be honest. But so she crashes. Her ship comes in while part of the debris of the asteroid is still arriving. So people are expecting these little meteorites to hit the Earth, and she crashes in the harbor. And she gets out, and she's got amnesia. And somehow or another, she makes it out of her ship. And Batman comes in because she crashes in Gotham, of course, not Metropolis. And he got the little, the money and the goggles, and he's swimming down to the boat, and she steals his boat. She steals this boat and crashes it, comes out of the fire 100% naked, which I can't believe you guys
Gave
didn't
those
mention.
blokes a shock.
Right. Comes up on guys in an alleyway who are, your basic blue-collar guys.
But they thought all their Christmases had come at once.
That's right. And this one guy made the mistake of making a pass at her and making a move towards her, and that was his mistake. And, she basically beat the crap out of him and moved on. And Batman follows her and says, "Okay, tell me." It was just so funny. So anyway, one of the guys gives her the coat to cover herself, and she ends up in traffic, and a car runs into her, and she ends up rising up in the air. She doesn't know she can fly, and she can't speak anything but kryptonite. It's bad. Finally, Batman finds her. Well, no. She tanks a Zeppelin, a police Zeppelin. What do they call it? Blimps in the sky.
Yeah, blimp.
Superman has to fly in and save the blimp, right? So Batman finally corners her, got the kryptonite, puts her to sleep, takes her to the Batcave, straps her down, realizes she's more powerful than Superman. She wakes up, breaks out of the straps.
I like the background. I like the flashback of Superman's planet as well.
Yes, it goes back to Superman's planet blowing up her planet.
Yeah, her planet. Yeah, her planet.
At the dog moment. So, yeah, dog. Okay, because I love dogs. So,
She's writing this down as you go along.
I can't remember. So,
good old Crypto.
So they get
I thought I didn't know Superman had a
right,
dog.
so
I thought it was this dog.
So she wakes up and she again starts floating up to the top of the Batcave, and luckily Superman comes by because she's scared, and all of a sudden these beams come out of her eyes, and she trashes a $50,000 computer.
Oh,
so she
yeah.
trashed Batman's boat. She's trashed his $50,000 computer.
That's why she didn't like. He didn't like her. He didn't trust her.
He's
Yeah.
got all the money in the world, but he's pissed, And Superman says, "Well, send me the bill," and he's like, "Yeah, and a reporter's salary," so which becomes a running gag throughout the movie. So it's just like it's really cool. So they take her to the.
Are you planning on going through the film scene by scene, or?
I love it. These are all my favorite moments.
I'll come back in an hour's time if you are.
Hey,
sometimes you go on a bit.
Never.
You guys didn't mention any of these. So we get to the ice place, Superman's Fortress of Solitude, right, where she's basically quarantined until she figures out how to use her powers. And Crypto shows up. The dog shows up and doesn't like her at all. Prowls, chases her into the room, and they're about ready to. They don't know what it is, and it's just the dog. And Batman has his funny lines about, I think the dog's got taste. I mean, there's a lot more to this than just a parade of this is awful. So it's really quite good. The bottom line is it's really good. The dog shows up, and then we get to my favorite Superman scene ever.
Yeah, I'll just wait there. I'm going to press fast forward.
Fuck you, Alex.
Is it working?
Superman says to his cousin, here, I'll help you be an Earth girl. He takes her shopping. So he's sitting outside the dressing rooms while she's trying on clothing after clothing, throwing all these dresses on him to hold and a big hat. And he's sitting there when she's getting her nails done. And, these boys come by and take a look at her, and that looks like he's going to beat the crap out of him. I mean, that's got to be my favorite Superman scene ever, because it's just so funny. So anyway, those are my favorite scenes. But the other scenes that you guys haven't mentioned, Barda, right? So Barda used to be on Apocalypse, and they go to her to ask for her help, and Wonder Woman lands the plane, and Barda opens the door and says, "Hi, when I told you guys to stop by, I thought maybe you'd give you a little notice. You didn't leave a plane in my, what is it, an invisible plane in my in my driveway.
Did you see the characters behind them look really confused?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like standing there staring at them.
They're normal. So and then the whole thing, it ends up that, and we didn't talk about the relationship between Lila, and Lila is someone who can see for the future. So Lila and Supergirl become really close friends.
Oh, Harbinger is written right now by Jodie Hauser, who writes the 13th Doctor Who comic books.
Really?
And Harbinger actually is a comic book heroine of large size. So Harbinger is not only like a bit able to see in the future, but is a different size.
Oh, that's why at the end the statue of her is so huge. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, thank you. I learned something new. Well, Harbinger had this vision of the future, and everybody thought it was, and she did too, of Kara, because they both were the same, well, in her normal shape, they were both the same size and had blonde hair. So the vision, she thought it was about Kara, but it was about her. And they had a really close friendship. And Wonder Woman basically kidnaps Kara. Superman lets her do it, takes her to Themyscira, and trains her. And
wherever she's from.
Right. And while she's being trained, that's when Apocalypse wants to come and get her. And there's just so much in this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, really, Susie, really.
Go watch the movie.
I mean, you're determined to take a step-by-step right the way through.
It's really one of my favorite movies. I can't even tell you. I have it on iTunes. And when, I think that the little numbers of how many times you've seen that, I don't even know what it's up to. I think it broke.
I've got to admit, I really hated it. I thought it was an awful film.
Yeah.
But what we'll do, is Brian back with us?
Yeah.
He's never been with us, really, is he?
Hello, Brian.
He's never been there.
Are you there, Brian?
He's not all there, no.
Right, so give us one favourite moment, please.
Just one, because Susie's literally gone through the whole film. Twice.
I don't know. I don't see how I can, because in that she described the whole entire movie.
Oh, God, the whole thing in Apocalypse with the bomb.
Did you start to fall asleep, Brian?
Brian, how about you just give your favorite moments from Public Enemies?
Yeah, she didn't talk about Public Enemy. She hates that one.
He didn't like Apocalypse. He liked Public Enemies better.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tell us your favorite moment from Public Enemy. Right, that's brilliant. Thank you for that.
No. I think probably my favorite moment within Public Enemy is probably when Batman and Superman are fighting Lex at the end.
At the end.
It's a good battle, yeah.
Yeah, but because it didn't seem like a one-on-one type of situation. It seemed like a whole lane of like a whole lane of a fight, like an act 1, act 2 type of a fight. So it really seemed really bit of a unique way of within a featured film. Stupid. But it seemed like a very unique way of a very unique way for a featured animated film.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for that, Brian. See, that's how you do it, short and sweet.
Yeah, Susie. There's definitely more sexual tension between Superman and Batman in the first one.
Yeah,
There's no
Alan.
tension between
Can I just say the standout for me in the Public Enemies was the friendship
Yeah.
between Bruce and Clark.
That was on my list. I didn't say.
Because you can't read it, that's why.
It was animated, but you could see on Superman's face, "You've just killed my best friend."
Yeah, that
When
was
he was looking that was when he knew you could get him back. That was just brilliant. Yeah, I don't get the Toyman thing, because Toyman is a Superman villain. I don't get
I
that.
didn't get it either.
Yeah,
Well, there's multiple Toymen, if I'm
Are there?
But that little kid at the end's a Toyman.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, he's not
Call
really a
him in the
man, is
movie.
he? But he's not a man.
well,
Well,
it's not a kid. It's not a kid.
But he is a
Cool.
kid.
But for
Brian,
me,
what were you gonna say? There's multiple Toymen.
yeah, there is.
I like the Megazord.
mm,
It was a mix of it. One half was Batman, the other half was Superman, wasn't it?
It wasn't really a Megazord. This is some Power Rangers.
What's a Megazord?
It was. He was in the Megazord.
What the hell is a Megazord?
if you've seen Power Rangers, it's that big robots that.
Oh, I draw the line at Power Rangers.
Um,
Power Rangers activate now. I couldn't, even as a kid, I couldn't do it.
But for me-
Power Rangers.
yeah, you.
You Mighty Morphin. Power
But for me, Public Enemies, Lex Luthor. I'm not a big fan of the character Lex Luthor, because he's been used and used and used. But for me, Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor.
You would make a good live action.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
not many actors play Lex Luthor in the movie,
Yeah.
in the animation, but Clancy Brown, for me, is the voice of Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
A brilliant actor, and he's a so recognisable voice. Yeah, and then I know there's. I'm not a big fan of Darkseid either as a villain. I don't like all these all-powerful villains, like Darkseid and what's it called? Thanos. Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah, he looks a bit like Thanos, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because the artists from the comics
When,
used to
Yeah.
change from the companies.
I don't think his design's very good.
Yeah, but I do like the character, a very strange character in Apocalypse, in the comics and in the cartoons, Granny Goodness.
Yes,
Nobody's
Ed
mentioned Granny
Asner.
Goodness.
Played by Ed Asner.
Ed Asner.
Yeah, played by a man. But Granny Goodness is a very strange character when she ever appears. And do you see the little Easter egg in Barda's house when she opened the
Yes.
wardrobe? Mr. Miracle's costume.
From Scott, right? Her husband, boyfriend.
Yeah, Mr. Miracle. Brilliant. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But for me, it's the camaraderie between Superman and Batman what makes these movies.
Right.
Because they are two best mates, even if Batman won't admit it.
Yeah.
And even if Batman would use kryptonite against Superman, because he would do, because that's the type of person he is. But Superman would have let him do it. If need be, he would let Batman kill him, if it came to it.
There's a lot of
Let Batman kill who?
second one.
Superman.
Oh,
If-
right. Yes. Superman would walk Batman.
There's more
down the
flesh in the
other
second
road.
one.
Superman would trust Batman to end
Kill
it
him.
for him if it came to it. Yeah.
Yeah. If he
Yeah.
ever was road. Right.
Yep.
A lot
So
more flesh. A lot more flesh in the second one.
yeah, there was. It was more flesh.
Ripped costumes and that. Yeah.
So,
It's a cartoon, Alex.
is there anything more before we go to final say and score? Anybody?
Well, yes.
Oh no, I should.
No, please, no.
No, come on.
It's
Just
got
one
another
last one.
50 minutes of the film to go
Susan,
through.
you liked the punch in the beginning one? The first time I saw this movie, when they were go up to the farmhouse, I thought it was the end of the movie. And they were going to meet Mr. and Mrs. Kent. And he goes up to open the door, and boom, Apocalypse's hand goes right through the door. I have no idea.
That is a brilliant fight scene
Isn't it?
in Smallville. That is just amazing.
Amazing.
And then
I thought we were done.
and then John and Martha turn up at the end. We'll do another one.
It's so funny. But she kicks his ass, basically. And together with Superman, the two of them do him in. But yeah, it's very rare for me to be surprised, really shocked in a movie, and really just something come out of nowhere with no foreshadowing. But that hand through the door, I was not expecting it, and I love moments in movies that do that. This movie was just as good as almost, I mean, as any other. I would stack it against almost any other movie as far as just enjoyment things. Live action, animation, I don't care. Bruce Timm made these movies for adults, not kids, mostly.
True.
So
What's he doing?
he's get comfortable.
Right, We'll do final saying score. So while Susie, while you're on, what would you give it out of 10?
Oh, 40,000 TARDISes out of 40,000. How about that?
40,000 what?
TARDISes.
TARDISes?
Yes.
Were any TARDISes in this?
Isn't that what? Actually, I think there was. I think we have. Wasn't there a little screenshot in this movie of a TARDIS somewhere? No, it wasn't this one. It was in Superman and the
Just
Elite.
agree with her, Ali.
Yes. You don't really know this film, do you? Have you actually
Superman
watched
and
this
the
film?
Elite.
I don't believe she's watched this film. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
No, Superman and the Elite had a little TARDIS
You
in
just read Wikipedia and come on this cast. It's disgraceful.
it. Yes, that's exactly what I did.
So you're giving Apocalypse 10.
Yeah. Well, Apocalypse is one of my favorite all-time movies of any kind.
And what are you giving the first one? I wasn't listening.
First one, I liked it when it was the plot. I didn't like it when it was the parade of villains. So because of the parade of villains, I'd say an 8.
That's not bad. That's not
Fair
bad.
enough. Mid-8.
It's enjoyable. It's not the best movie ever.
So we'll go to Susan and Alex.
All right. Well, I really.
He's all right, you know. Calm down.
It's a sweet movie. There's a couple of sweet movies. I'm gonna be the next Batman, Superman villain. Just you wait. And the other thing that I liked about these movies is that the guy whose voice plays Captain Marvel Shazam looks just like the guy who played Captain Marvel Shazam in the big budget one that was just done. So that was fun. That was super fun too.
No, it
And
wasn't.
I enjoyed it. I loved Apocalypse because, you know, Supergirl and Wonder Woman and all the super powerful characters and Harbinger. And I mean, like, just sort of stellar stuff going on there. And so I'll give that one 10 lassos of truth out of 10. And then the first one, I will give that one I'll agree with Susan. I'll give that an 8 out of 10. 8 punches saying impeach out of 10. So that's my final sand score. Here's Alex.
Well, like I said, I prefer the second one. I just think it's better written and better dialogue and stuff like that, and more characters that I like. The first one, I like it, but not as much as the second one. So I don't know. The first one I'll give a 7. The second one I'll give a 9. I liked it a lot.
Cool.
There you go. Cool. Brian.
Yes, my
Yeah.
kid.
So score for the Public Enemies.
What's the scores on the door, Brian?
Well, I just want to point out before I say my final sentence score, I didn't realize Power Girl was Allison Mack from Smallville.
Oh, cool.
So I was just going through the list because I wanted to see who played Solomon Grundy, and because I heard that Solomon Grundy was Mark Hamill within a few things on animation. So just wanted to see if it was Mark Hamill, but I came across Allison Mack was Power Girl. But anyway, with Public Enemy, I would probably give Public Enemy a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
And
Wow.
And then Apocalypse, I would probably give Apocalypse a 4.
Oh my God!
Girl show.
Wow!
Girl story.
Wow! Oh my God! Right? Well, I've got to give a clap.
You
for
do
that.
not like girls.
I've got to give a clap for that. That has got to deserve a clap.
I didn't see that one coming.
That's funny because you usually do. When you look in the right way, of course.
It's okay to be wrong, Brian. It's okay to be wrong.
What's yours? What you're going to say?
Me, okay. Well, the first one's the weakest, and I think I'll give that a 6.5. It needs more story, less action, and it needs more dialogue. Like, the action sequences are amazing, but you don't need that many, and you don't need that many villains. It kind of overloads you with villains. And I'm sure, you know, that fans love seeing them all.
I
But
didn't know any of them.
you do need... It was too much. There was too much villains, and I was just going, "What on earth? Why are they throwing all these characters? Literally, just loads of new villains came in every so often. It went from new villain to new villain to new villain, and yeah, and it dilutes it because it doesn't give those villains a backstory or anything like that. They just appear and then disappear, and you're thinking like, "Well, okay, yeah." So the first one's a 6.5. The second one, Apocalypse, is much better, which I'll give an 8.
Cool. That's not bad going.
Because it's got a story to it, and you get a background of Superman, and
This is it. As long as the story's good and you can understand the story and it's fun.
it's not overloaded with characters either. It's not overloaded with villains.
It's character led and story led.
Yeah, exactly. Where the first one's more, let's just throw anybody we can in and have an asteroid coming to hit
Yeah,
Earth.
a lot of fan padding.
Yeah, fan wank.
I wasn't going down that route. But yeah, me personally, for Public Enemies, it's not bad. As you say, it is overloaded with villains. That's the problem with that one.
Just like these casts.
Yeah, so I'm giving that. I still like it. I'm giving it a 7.5 pieces of kryptonite out of 10. Apocalypse, love it. Even if I'm not keen on Darkseid as a character, I'm giving that 9 pairs of satin tights out of 10.
Nice.
You've got a lot of satin tights.
You've got to wear them satin tights, fighting for your rights.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's really no wonder that speaking of villains in our cast, it's really no wonder that our very own Lex Luthor, Brian, liked the first one better.
No, it isn't any wonder.
And he gave the second one a 4.
Yeah, so he is really Lex Luthor. You guys, he's really Lex Luthor.
The
You
reason
know-
his walls are green because he's covered the room in kryptonite to keep Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's a good
It's
point.
so true.
And the
It's not just
reason
his
he
walls
changed
either,
the
it's his
second-
doors.
I'm glad you're with us finally, Brian. I'm just convinced that the reason you liked the first one so much better was because you're Lex Luthor.
Right, and you're insane.
And that's coming from Susie. That Susie is calling
That's
you.
kryptonite walls there, buddy.
Kryptonite
okay.
walls made you insane.
This is the woman that hangs around
but-
parks
okay,
and
that-
dogs and then goes and nicks the vets.
Okay, plus,
She nicks veterinary nurses. She steals
Okay.
them.
it's a good thing.
We've got evidence.
Wonder
of this.
Woman is also great in the second movie. We didn't talk about her. I'm not going to talk about her now, but she's got really great things.
It's raining men.
Agreed. And women.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna close this one down now.
Damn.
We've talked about these two movies.
Well,
there's-
especially somebody.
Yeah. Well,
Not mentioning any names, Susie.
I love DC animated movies, and I never get to talk about them with anybody.
Well, thank God we're never going to talk about them again.
Well,
Oh dear.
Yeah.
all
Loads
of
of,
them they were good, except for one of them.
anyways, Brian. There's,
Insane.
there's loads and loads of these out there of DC movies, and they're still making them.
There
Are
are
they?
even better ones.
They're
Yeah,
still making them.
Alex likes all the Batman ones more
Yeah.
than these ones.
maybe not too far in the distant future, we may come back to a superhero animated one. Maybe we might go into the Marvel world. We don't know yet. You know, there's plenty there. There's X-Men, there's Spider-Man, there's Fantastic Four, there's Hulk. There's, you know, we could go anywhere with these. But I'd like to thank you guys for sitting down and watching these. I'd like to thank Alid for sitting down and watching a superhero thing. No, it goes against everything he lives for. And
It's been an odd time, isn't it? Because I hated the Disney fairy tale thing, Enchanted, and I like these two films. It's weird at the moment, folks. You never know what's going to happen next.
I think he might like Hush also.
True.
No, I could never do that.
No, he's never going to catch. Well, you guys here, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure just getting together and talking stuff. We're talking a lot of rubbish like we usually do.
Well,
you guys-
especially Susie.
yeah.
That was Brian. He's a vein.
To all of you who are out there, thanks for watching.
Just share.
He thinks it's share, but it's not. We know
It
it's not
is share. I'll get it to comment.
There,
Okay, I'll
Jen,
get it to comment.
Watch this.
Please give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down if you don't like. I don't care.
If you don't like Lee, just leave a very abusive message towards him.
Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of these two movies, or let us what you think of the.
Let us know what you thought of Susie.
And the fact that the future is female.
Yeah.
No.
If you want us to mute Susie, press like.
No,
If you want us,
no, just like us for the future is female.
And if you want to join in, but I don't know why you would. If you'd like to join in with our casts, leave us a message. Get in touch with any of us. We're all over the place. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You know, we're all over the place.
get in touch with Lee.
Get in touch with me. People have done, and I've
Yeah,
tagged
many
them.
people have touched him. We can,
Lovely.
especially John Nathan Turner.
But
No, I
we
can't
don't-
say it. No, he didn't. He didn't. I take that back. He didn't. I'm only joking.
And if you want to have
He didn't.
And that's another whole
notifications
show.
of when we do put things videos up, ding that bell, subscribe. You know.
Yeah. Ding, ling, 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 ling.
Until next time, folks. You know, it's been an honour. It's been a privilege.
Oh
It's
my,
been.
well, don't go over the top.
It's been.
Is this your last cast?
Until next time. We don't
Truth
know
and
when.
justice of the American way.
Yeah. I've never wanted to be a superhero. I've always wanted to be a lumberjack.
You look like a
Favorite
lumberjack.
superhero pose.
So goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.
Fucking Lex Luthor down there.
Oh no, you just swore he hasn't turned